Fawad, Imad, good afternoon. So what is this? It's a webinar. We'd like to cover some information about the university, but more importantly on the visa process. Who is this for? It's for September 2018 offer holders, undergraduate and postgraduate candidates. So we're going to spend about 15 minutes to provide you with an overview on Brunel. No doubt you've got some information beforehand and you've applied as a result of that, but just as a refresher reminder. And then second, we'll go to the visa information section. That's going to be another 15 minutes, and then possibly we'll allocate anywhere between 15 to 30 minutes for questions and answers. So if I can start off very briefly, why Brunel? So we're based in West London. You've got easy access to Central London and London Heathrow Airport. To be precise, you're looking at about 45 minutes to Central and about 20-25 minutes to London Heathrow. We are a single world-class London campus. So we have sports facilities, accommodation, we have 4,500 rooms on campus, catering facilities, social facilities, and of course prayer facilities. We estimate we have around 13,000 students. Of those 13,000, about 3,000 or 20% are international students from 110 different countries. From Pakistan in particular, we have approximately 250 students enrolled with us at this point in time. Accommodation is guaranteed, first year, second year, and final year. In terms of rankings, we are a UK top 25 university for graduate starting salaries, so this is more relevant for undergraduate students. And then we're also a UK top 10 university for boosting graduate salaries, so this is more relevant for postgraduate students. So again, just a quick visual of where we're located. We're there in West London, close to Heathrow. So a couple of things about this. You've got you're about 20 minutes away from Oxford Town Centre. That's the name of the town where the university is located. In the town centre, of course, you've got all your basic amenities, including shopping malls, cinemas, bars, cafes, restaurants, and other types of, social facilities. Something I want to touch on, so our students have secured work placements with FTSE top, FTSE 100 companies. In case you're not familiar with that term, these are the top 100 companies based in the UK, so including the likes of HSBC, Unilever, GSK. We have a dedicated professional development on the centre, as a professional development centre on the campus. Their key responsibility is to assist our students, undergraduate and postgraduate, with work placements, with internships, and part-time work. So this is the campus. It's something that makes us quite different and unique versus other universities in and around London. So as I mentioned earlier, we have around about 13,000 students. Now we have 4,500 rooms on campus. The rooms are single, they're private rooms with your own private shower in the room itself. The kitchen, on the other hand, is shared. It's a communal kitchen, so you share that between 8 to 10 students, but that's how you network and meet students from different backgrounds and studying different courses. So we've got a business school on the campus, we've got a school of health and life sciences, we've got a law school on the campus, we've also got a modern languages school, so if you want to pick up some additional languages whilst you're studying, you're more than welcome to. We've got an indoor athletics track, sports facilities, fitness facilities on campus, plus we've got a sports park just off-site. So if you're a keen footballer, or if you like any other sort of ball sports, including badminton or cricket, then that's something you cater for. So as you can see, it's quite a green campus. It's quite spacious, and I'd like to say that it's very conducive for your studies. You've still got access to Central London, so if you want that buzz and you're looking to socialise and go out on the weekends, you can do that. But on the weekdays, you can focus on your academics. And again, just a few images here. The top left-hand corner, we're looking at the library. Of course, it's open 24/7 during term time. Then you've got plenty of green spaces open and quite spacious. Sports. So again, I touched on this, but if you're a keen athlete, then you can actually apply for scholarship schemes in relation to being supported in your sort of professional development. And then we've also got a canteen, and that canteen caters for all sorts of students with different dietary requirements, including vegetarian, halal, and of course we have all the sort of comfort foods you'd come to expect. Just a couple more reasons why you should consider Brunel. This is just on ranking. So in QS, we're on the Shanghai rankings, on the Times Higher Education, and again on the Times Higher Education. This for me is quite important. We actually rank 34th in the world for international outlook. And that's looking at a number of factors, including the diversity of students, international students we have on campus, diversity of staff, and also the amount of collaboration and linkages we have with institutions abroad. What it means for you, so what is the benefit? It means that you have a global outlook once you graduate, and your career prospects are international. Very briefly, so we have College of Business, Art and Social Sciences. Some of our key courses, for instance, a Master's in Management, this is an MSc in Management, it's ranked 13 in the UK. We also have Marketing, 26 in the UK, and Brunel Business School is actually ranked 18th in the UK and 82nd in Europe, and that's in Financial Times. Engineering, Design, and Physical Sciences, again, we're in the top 10 for mechanical, including aerospace, so that's something we also offer. And besides mechanical or engineering in general, we also have design from a technical perspective, and also in the last 5 to 6 years, we've consistently ranked in the top 7 or top 10. College of Health and Life Sciences, so we have occupational therapy, physiotherapy, public health, health promotion, and those sorts of courses. Student support, so we have a student center. This is your first port of call for any inquiry, registration, finance, letters, visa, and police. Medical center, so if you need to see a doctor, GP, then that's something we have on campus. We've got 2 pharmacies. We've also got a bank on the campus, a volunteering center, and of course I touched earlier on our professional personal development center that can assist you with work placements, part-time work. Just on the part-time work, you're allowed to work a maximum of 20 hours a week. It's usually mentioned on your visa. So that's that, and Matt, my colleague Matt, later will cover this in a little bit more depth. Sponsored students, and of course, we have welfare services and counseling. So if you need to speak with someone on any sort of matter, then that's something also we can help with. So as both of you would already hold an offer, there's a couple of things you need to do in order to complete your acceptance, and before you receive your CAS letter, or if you simplify it, means your visa letter. With that letter, then you can apply for your Tier 4 student visa. So in terms of accepting your offer, there's typical conditions which you need to meet. Of course, the key ones being academic and English. So if you haven't already, please send us your final transcript and certificate. Ideally, if you can upload it to your eVision or My Applications portal, and our admissions team will automatically be notified by the system that that's been done, and then they'll make the assessment. Similarly, with your English language, if it is a condition on your offer and you've met it recently, then please upload your IELTS or the alternative English proficiency test you've taken. References need to be on letterhead paper and signed by the referee. Again, if you haven't done that, ATAS typically applies only for courses in engineering and technology. So if the course you've applied to be holding an offer for non-engineering or non-technology related, then you don't have to worry too much about ATAS. Length of study for, this is just for us to identify if you've previously studied in the UK, and how long for, what sort of visa, so we can make an appropriate decision as to your immigration or issuing a CAS. Copy of passport, it must be up to date and ensure all your details are accurate. Just make sure that there's enough validity time on your passport, so you don't have to renew it shortly after you arrive here. And of course, we recommend that you apply for your visa on a new passport if that's the case. Deposit payment. So again, if you haven't made your deposit payment, it's a £3,000 deposit. It's against your tuition fee. So upon receipt of all of these conditions, then we will proceed with issuing you with a CAS letter. to help you apply for your visa. Just something I want to mention at this stage. Now, you may or may not know this, but we have approved agents in Pakistan in the key cities, being Karachi, Lahore, Islamabad, Faisalabad, and other cities too. So if you do not have an agent, or you're not working with an agent, or you're not happy with your agent, please get in touch with me. I'll leave my contact details, including email address, at the end of this session. If you can just email me back, confirm that you'd like to receive some sort of support. By the way, and the support is free of charge, it's complimentary to you. What the agent does, they will contact you. They will familiarize themselves with your particular profile, your case, and then accordingly, they will assist you with the visa application stage. My personal recommendation, do not apply for the visa by yourself. Please make sure you take full advantage of the services, but also the expertise offered by some of our approved agents in Pakistan. These are just a couple of links you might want to take note of. Again, I think from the perspective of student life and what the environment is like and what people are like, what students are like, you might want to click on a few of these links to see what student life is all about at Brunel. And I think I'll end it there. I'll pass you on to my colleague Matthew, who will cover Tier 4 General Student Visa information. Thank you.
Thank you, Ali. Hi, good afternoon, everyone. My name is Matthew Quish, as Ali introduced myself, and I'm just over the course of the next 10-15 minutes or so, pleased going to give you some fairly generic information about how to make a successful Tier 4 General Student Visa application, and to give you some more information about the visa application process. So if you are an international student, so assuming you are in your home country, Pakistan at the moment, you are almost certainly going to need a Tier 4 General Student Visa. So Tier 4 is the UK immigration category that allows people to come to the UK to study on a full-time basis. And in the course of this presentation, I hope to give you the core information that may help you in making this application. As Ali referred to really importantly earlier on in the presentation, you can't make your Tier 4 application until the university issues you with something called a CAS, Confirmation of Acceptance for Study. You cannot physically submit a Tier 4 application without this unique reference number, because you have to input it into your Tier 4 online application. What's really important to remember is that the university can't give you a CAS until you have an unconditional offer. So that's when you meet all of the conditions of your offer first, whether that be in the form of academic qualifications, references, but really important, as Ali mentioned, the payment of a deposit. We do please recommend that you pay the deposit as soon as you possibly can. It is refundable in the unfortunate event of a visa refusal, or if you were to fail to meet the conditions of your offer. But we would generally advise that to be paid as soon as possible, rather than leaving it until quite late into the summer, for example, late August, early September, because sometimes there can be delays, particularly if you're going to pay using an international bank transfer, which may cause problems in terms of you getting to Brunel in time if you leave it quite late to pay that deposit. The other key point I'd say about the CAS is that it's an electronic document. We will email it to you in the form of a letter and a CAS statement, but we also send this information directly to UK Visas and Immigration, or the UKVI. This is the UK government organisation that will deal with your visa application, so they can see your CAS on their system when you make the visa application. So it's a common misconception with students. Sometimes they think they need to be sent some kind of hard copy letter. That's not the case. The electronic copy that we send you will suffice for your visa application. The Tier 4 application process is now largely online, so if you visit the link on the screen there on the UK government website, that is where you can start the process off by following the appropriate links to the application form. It's really important that you can only apply for your visa up to 3 months before your course starts. So I'm assuming you both have offers for September, so we're in that 3-month period now. How long it takes to receive your visa will depend on a number of factors, but the UKVI service standard is 15 working days. So we'd always recommend that you apply for your visa as early as you possibly can. Really going back to what I just said, if possible, we'd recommend that you meet all the conditions we offer in the next couple of weeks and get your visa applications in. I'd recommend no later than the end of August so that you can apply in good time for the registration week, which begins on the 17th, sorry, my apologies, the 14th of September. But the courses themselves start on the 24th of September. So we certainly want you here for the start of teaching. The documents that you need to supply in your visa application may vary. There's not necessarily a set list of documents that every single student has to supply because it can depend on your course. But what you're certainly going to need is a valid passport. You're going to need to supply passport-sized photographs in your visa application. You're certainly going to have to supply the original qualifications that are listed on your CAS, so it should be quite clear. It will essentially be the qualifications that you've been accepted for entry on. You're going to need to pay something called an immigration health surcharge. This is a charge that would enable you to use free healthcare here in the UK, provided by our National Health Service. Fortunately, the payment is all built into the visa application process, and there is information again on the government website if you need it. I believe in Pakistan you are going to need a tuberculosis test, so you are going to need to obtain a certificate confirming that that has been undertaken. But again, please do visit the website available on the screen there for further information. And probably the most important part, to some extent, of any Tier 4 visa application, the most common area of misunderstanding sometimes is around the maintenance. So you need to show financial evidence that you can pay your tuition fees and cover your living costs for the first year of your course, but I'm going to go into that in a bit more detail shortly. As I mentioned, some courses will require an Academic Technology Approval Scheme, or ATAS, typically in the fields of engineering. I'm not sure what courses you applied for, but you would have been asked for this document as a condition of your offer, so if you haven't, you don't need it. You would have already been informed by now if you need that. So going on in a bit more detail about the maintenance requirements, there is a requirement to show that you have enough money to pay your remaining tuition fees for the first year of your course, and also prescribed living costs. So this is money for food, accommodation, travel, clothing, etc., etc. On your CAS, we will list what your first year tuition fees are, and we will also state how much has been paid towards that tuition fee already. So, for example, if you paid a £3,000 deposit, that can be deducted from the amount of money that you would need to show towards your tuition fees. When it comes to the living costs, the UKVI have a prescribed figure that you will need to show. Now, assuming that you are studying a degree level course, it's going to be at least a year long, if not more. The prescribed figure is £11,385. And how the UKVI work that out is they say that every student needs to demonstrate £1,265 for each month of the course, but only up to a maximum of 9 months. Please note that one of the other core requirements when it comes to maintenance is that if you are using bank statements, whether they be your own or in the name of a parent or legal guardian, the money must be maintained in the bank account for 28 consecutive days. So if you do feel that you haven't yet got these finances in place, if you are going to be using a bank account to evidence this, now is the time to start preparing that, so that you can at least get your visa application in towards the end of August. But we don't recommend that you apply until you have held that money for 28 days. There's a couple of really important pieces of guidance that we do recommend that you would read before you make your visa application. when it comes to all of the documents that you need to supply, and that's the Tier 4 policy guidance, so that's the UK government guidance for making a visa application. But also you'll find the UK Council for International Student Affairs, UKISA website, is a really good source of information. That's really student focused and student friendly, and puts it in a format that's more easily understandable, I feel from experience. And then I feel a little bit uncomfortable saying it, but I do have to say it. The UKVI will interview applicants as part of their visa application. This is called a credibility interview. And although it's a normal part of the visa process, it is designed to ensure that somebody applying for a Tier 4 visa has a genuine intention to study in the UK. And the reason I'm a little bit, I do have to be quite honest here and say that we know the UKVI are routinely interviewing Pakistani students to a much stricter degree than some other nationalities. And I have to say that we have had a number of Pakistani students refuse their visas in the past. But to reassure you, what's really important to take into account, each interview is assessed individually, and as long as you prepare adequately for the interview and you give open and honest answers in that interview, we wouldn't expect there to necessarily be an issue that would lead to the refusal of your visa application. So first of all, the most important bit of advice is don't be alarmed or panic if you are selected to interview. It's part of the normal visa process in most countries, and as I've said, practically every applicant in Pakistan is almost certainly going to be interviewed. And the interview is going to focus on a number of questions about your intentions to study at Brunel University in the UK, your chosen course, your career plans, and your financial circumstances. Preparation is key. From experience, we do find that when students are unfortunately refused their visa on the basis of an interview, it's because they weren't ready for it. They hadn't prepared adequately, and so often they're nervous and they don't give clear, coherent answers to the questions that they're being asked. But the interview is designed to check in the answers that you give that you have what the UKVI call a genuine intention to study in the UK. Unfortunately, the application might be refused if you fail to do this. On the next slide, I'm going to talk about the key areas that are very key to remember when you come to your visa interview. The first area that you will certainly be questioned on is your intention to study in the UK. So you're going to be asked about what course you chose to study at Brunel in the UK, and specifically what made you choose this course here at Brunel. So before you go into the interview, I mean, Ali in his presentation before really outlined the reasons why we believe Brunel would be attractive, and you would need to demonstrate that in your visa application. So have a think about what our course offers that other universities, both inside and outside of the UK, don't. The UKVI do have a general expectation that you should have researched some other UK universities. So have a think about, did you apply to any other universities in the UK? And if so, what made you choose to come to Brunel above those other universities? And you will also be asked about the course structure. So that information is on our course web pages, and information about that should be in your offer as well. And please do feel free to contact either Andy or myself if you do need any more guidance or information. But you may well be asked, for example, how your course is structured, about the modules, or how much of your course will be exams and coursework and things like that. So that's quite easy to prepare for because the information is all available online, but it is important nonetheless. The second part that the interview will almost definitely focus on is your education history. You're going to be asked about what you've studied in the past and how this relates to your chosen course. I'm not sure if any of you have studied in the UK before, but if you have, it's likely that you will be asked some questions about your previous UK study. One of the things that we have found from credibility interviews in general is that you will be questioned about any gaps of study. That's not to say that that's not allowed, so please don't be too alarmed if there is a little bit of a gap, because I understand that, like many international students, you may have had to do some work to save up for the funds to come and study in the UK, but you need to be able to explain them and evidence why there is a gap of study, for example, if you have been working in that time. Another crucial aspect of any credibility interview is to talk about your career plans, because the UKVI are going to expect you to be able to demonstrate that your course that you're going to be paying a lot of money for is going to benefit you in your future career plans. So you will need to explain how does the course specifically apply to your intended profession. You may be asked even how much you expect to earn in your chosen career and how the cost of studying in the UK justifies the financial commitment you will be making. So it's well worth taking some time to think about what your chosen career is and how you feel Brunel's course can help you with that. And the other important aspect of an interview will be your financial circumstances. So we've already talked about the maintenance requirements, but unfortunately UKVI will delve a bit more as part of the interview as to possibly where these funds are coming from, and to show this demonstration of how the financial outlay of your course is justified. So you may be asked some very personal questions, I have to say, about where your funds are coming from. This is important to bear in mind if your parents will be supporting you when it comes to your maintenance costs, because you will be asked questions about how much they earn per month, what their professions are, and how the source and availability of your funds. So again, it's really important to be honest and have that information to hand, and not be surprised if you are asked as part of the visa application. So really just to recap, the key rules for a visa interview: do not be alarmed, it's part of the normal process. If you are selected for an interview, you're not being picked on specifically because there's any concerns. It's everyone, particularly in Pakistan, is expected to be interviewed. Number two, of course, is be prepared. That's the most important bit of advice. As we've outlined in the presentation, spend a good deal amount of time preparing for that, using the information resources available. I know Ali mentioned in his presentation about the use of agents, as it said on point 3 there. Really recommend, if you haven't applied for an agent, or if you're a bit concerned about what information the agent might be giving you, that you do come and speak to us, and that we can put you in the direction of a suitable trusted agent who we would expect them to help you prepare you for the interview. Maybe even to the extent that we can do a practice interview. You've got to be quite careful, and the agents will know this, is we're not allowed to coach people for their interviews. That means we're not allowed to give you specific answers to give, but there's no harm, we are allowed to practice, and therefore the agent can help with that. And also sometimes we hear when there is a problem with a credibility interview, sometimes it's because there's a problem with the feed, because your interview will be conducted by video, at least in the first instance. So if you have any problems during the interview, if you can't hear the person who is interviewing you on the video link, don't just sail along with the interview. Please make sure you are very vocal in saying that, if you cannot hear what is being said clearly. I'm going to move on now to what happens after your visa is issued. For those of you coming to study in the UK for more than 6 months, which I presume is all of you on degree level courses, when you first get your visa, it will be placed in your passport, and you'll get what's called a 30-day entry clearance visa. But then when you arrive in the UK, you're going to have to collect a BRP, a Biometric Residence Permit. This is a plastic identity card that acts as your visa to cover the duration of your study here at Brunel. And you must collect your BRP within 10 days of entering the UK. The UKVI will inform you where to collect your BRP, but there's going to be really one of 2 places where you can collect this. And it does depend on the information that you put in your visa application. The first place will be a UK post office, which will be close to where you will be living based on the address that you supplied in your visa application. The second place, and this is the one that we would recommend, would be to collect your BRP right here at Brunel University London. Details of how to do this will be included in your CAS. In short, you'll be given a unique code, which is called an alternative collection location. You input that code on your online visa application, and that means the visa will be, the BRP will be sent here to Brunel, and then we're going to contact you to give you details of where to collect it, as will UKVI. We'd really recommend that you choose this option if you're living either at Brunel on campus or in the local area. But if you choose, you don't have to collect it here. If you prefer to collect it at a location nearer to where you may be living in London, for example, you are able to do that, and the UKVI will tell you where to collect it. Just a really quick discussion now about your Tier 4 visa responsibilities, because it is important just to bear in mind that you will have certain responsibilities as a Tier 4 student here at Brunel, which you will get a lot more information about when you register. These responsibilities shouldn't be at odds with your academic program, and obviously you are coming to the UK with the intention of studying on a full-time basis to successfully complete your chosen course. But really, there's two key aspects when it comes to these regulations. And number one is around working, which again Ali touched upon in his part of the presentation. But under current UK immigration rules, your Tier 4 visa should allow you to work 20 hours per week. That's during term time, and that will be stated on your BRP. You will be allowed to work full-time in formal vacation periods and after you've successfully finished your course, because your Tier 4 visa should allow you to remain in the UK for up to 4 months after the end date of your course. Please just note that certain professions are prohibited. You cannot work in the UK with a Tier 4 visa as a professional sports person, professional entertainer, and you cannot be self-employed in any capacity. I'd probably say the other key responsibility that students do need to be quite carefully aware of is there is an obligation on the university to monitor your attendance, and therefore you are being sponsored as a Tier 4 student with the expectation that you should be attending all scheduled academic activities on your course. So that's lectures, seminars, exams, coursework submission, whatever is on your timetable to attend, we would say that you should do so. We know that there may be genuine reasons why you can't, such as ill health, and in that case we would just ask you to keep in contact with your academic department after you're here. But your attendance will be monitored, and disciplinary action would be taken if you were not attending adequately in your program, but I'm sure that won't be the case. If you need any further advice about the visa application process, there are a large number of pieces of information available. I've probably got the 4 most important ones on there. The first one is our own internal website, external Brunel website that has information about visas and immigration. As I said earlier in the presentation, the UK Council for International Student Affairs have a fantastic visa and immigration advice page that's very student orientated and is quite simple to follow. I would say the most important document to read though, and it is long, I know it is quite a challenge, but it is the specific UKVI Tier 4 policy guidance. This outlines all of the rules and regulations you'd have to follow, particularly around maintenance requirements and documents that you need to supply. So that is well worth a read. And if you do have any further questions after this webinar, please do feel free to contact us by email at admissions.immigration@brunel.ac.uk. But I'm going to be available for approximately the next 20 minutes, as is Ali. And if you have any questions, please do type them in onto the webinar platform. Thank you. Hi, I've got one question from Farhad. First of all, about visas, and I understand you have another question I'll pass you to Ali for. So what are the documents that I need to apply for the visa? On the presentation, I outline the core documents that you will certainly have to supply. So that's passport, original qualifications, and financial documents that to prove you can meet the maintenance requirements. I think you're also going to need a tuberculosis test certificate. However, I can't tell you exactly every single document necessarily you need to supply in a visa application, because it can differ depending on certain circumstances. For example, your financial documents can be in different formats. Your course may require ATAS or it may not. Things like that do sometimes change the documentation. All that's really important is to make sure you follow the guidance that's provided, and the online Tier 4 visa application process will tell you what documents need to be supplied. And what's going to happen, you're going to have to attend a visa appointment, and a member of UKVI staff at the visa application centre should also be able to assist you if need be. So please do ask questions there when you come to make your visa application. I understand you've got some questions about your course. We do need them to be typed in, please. So if you could please type us your questions, as you've done already, we shall answer them. Thank you. Hi, Farhad. My colleague has mentioned that you did email your questions in earlier, so apologies for that. But we do have your questions for you, which I shall try to answer to the best of my ability. So your first question is the time of arrival of your visa. I'm not sure if that means how long you expect your visa application to take. If so, our advice is always that a standard Tier 4 visa application should take up to 3 weeks to process. When it comes to the arrival of your visa, we do recommend that you apply as early as possible so that you get it in good time to arrive for the start of your course. Our international orientation and registration begins on Friday the 14th of September. So if you are making that visa application in the near future, we recommend that you do that in line with that. You mentioned that you have admissions for this coming September, and can you postpone it till next summer? You are allowed to defer your application once, so if this was your first request to defer, the answer is yes, in which case you should contact our admissions team. You mentioned, does the distance learning degree have the same accreditation or not? To my knowledge it does, but I must confess I'm not an expert in accreditation of our degrees. I think it should be available on our website, but we'll try and get that information to you after the session. Your fourth question was, can I study 1 year on a distance learning program and then transfer myself to an on-campus program for the same course? Unfortunately, I don't believe that is possible because the courses are very differently structured. So if you started on a distance learning basis, it wouldn't be possible for you to catch up on the full-time mode. So I think you do probably need to make a decision of one or the other. And you mentioned that if you get your ATAS certificate and postpone entry for a year, do you need to get a new certificate? The answer is yes. An ATAS certificate is only valid for 6 months, so you can only use the ATAS certificate in a visa application for 6 months. So that's going to run out next year. So if you do choose to defer, you would just simply have to make a new application again. But your offer would be amended accordingly with the admissions office if that was the case. Please feel free if you've got any more questions to type them in. Hi there. We're going to be available for the next 5-10 minutes or so for the 2 people who are currently registered on the webinar. So if you do have any questions, either about Brunel University, your chosen course, or any of the visa requirements, please do feel free to type them in and we will answer them as best we can. Hi Mohammed, I understand you've asked that you have applied for on-campus accommodation in Chepstow Hall. What are my prospects for admission in the on-campus halls? Presuming the Chepstow Hall in particular. What I would advise to all applicants is please try and meet the conditions of your offer as soon as possible and follow the instructions that you are then given when it comes to making your application for on-campus accommodation. But the accommodation can't be allocated to you formally until you have an unconditional offer. I mean, I would say as long as you meet all the requirements early enough and you follow the instructions provided by our accommodation centre, it's likely that you should get your chosen hall. But if not, I would like to reassure you that all of our on-campus accommodation is broadly similar in terms of the facilities and in a broadly similar location. Generally speaking, you're never more than 5 minutes away from anything on campus, no matter where the accommodation hall is. So we hope that you do get your chosen accommodation as long as you get that application processed and finished as soon as you can. Thanks, Mohammed. We are going to end the session now, but please feel free to contact us if you have any more questions after the session, either by emailing us at admissions.immigration@brunel.ac.uk. That's really visa-related questions, but my colleague Ali is just about, he has sent that now, his personal email address. That's more if you have any questions about Brunel or the facilities or your course, and we'd be happy to help with that. I wish you the best of luck in your application and visa process, and we really hope that we can see you in September. Thank you.